In your mind, what is the worst Sonic level? There are a ton of candidates: End of the World, Labyrinth Zone, Lost Impact, and many, many more. And with this series, I hope to answer that question eventually. There are 3 requirements for me to make a video on a level. 1, I need to be able to record footage of the game. 2, it's not enough to just have a few irksome design decisions. The level must be genuinely bad. 3, if it has a ranking system, I have to get the best possible rank in it. Sonic games tend to get more fun the better at them you get. So it's entirely possible that with more knowledge of a level, I'll come to at least appreciate what it's trying to do. The inverse can also be true. The more I know about a level, the easier it is for me to dissect why it's bad, and I might come to hate it even more. As an example, Unleashed will never be on this show, because A, I have no way to record footage of it, since emulation of that game is still pretty spotty, and there is still no PC port. And B, I don't consider any levels in Unleashed bad enough to be worst of all time worthy. I could do a video on why the Werehog doesn't work for most people, but I kind of already covered that when I talked about Sonic Frontiers' combat in my review, and I'd prefer not to retread old ground, at least for now. Now, Shadow the Hedgehog is actually pretty easy for me to get footage of, and has several levels that meet the second criteria. I like the Shadow the Hedgehog video game. Now, let me clarify that statement before everyone thinks I'm crazy. Shadow the Hedgehog is a game I can have fun with. There are a ton of things to hate and things that are terrible, but there is a lot about this game I think of fondly. And there are a ton of ideas here that I would love to see revisited and improved upon in future Sonic games. Unfortunately, this video will cover almost none of those things. We'll get to talking about what I enjoy about this game someday, I promise. But for now, it's time to swim through the muck and experience what I considered to be the worst Sonic level prior to starting working on this series: The Doom. If you ask someone what they think the worst level in the game is, chances are they will say Lost Impact. So we'll definitely talk about that level in depth on this show someday, but I feel like The Doom goes overlooked a lot when it comes to discussions on bad level design in this series. I have a few theories as to why. In Shadow the Hedgehog, almost every level has a dark, neutral, and hero mission, unless it's at the very top, bottom, or end of the map. Dark takes you up right, hero takes you down left, and neutral sends you straight forward. Unless again, it's at the very top or bottom of the map. And the last missions of the map only have hero and dark missions. First, you kind of have to go out of your way to get this level. Unlike Lost Impact, which you can get just by playing all hero missions, which is a very reasonable thing to expect any player to want to do, The Doom can only be reached by playing the dark mission on Prison Island, which you are unlikely to do on a first playthrough, because if you are on Prison Island, chances are you're going for one of the 2 neutral endings, or doing the neutral mission on Cryptic Castle, which is also unlikely, since chances are you're on this level to try and reach one of the 2 dark endings. In fact, the last level I played on my original save file was The Doom, because I noticed there was a gray spot on the map after I had already gotten the true ending. If you're playing Lost Impact, chances are you're only interested in doing the hero mission, which is significantly worse than most of the missions in the game, which helps it stand out in the player's mind. The Doom is a level you could be there for any of the missions because of its placement. Now, I have not played either level in well over a decade, so neither may be as bad as I remember. Wishful thinking, I know. Let's see how The Doom holds up after I play it again. I just finished playing The Doom. It's actually worse than I remembered. I initially worried that The Doom wouldn't have enough wrong with it to justify a full video, and I'd have to combine it with Mad Matrix and Lost Impact. It was wrong. There is so much wrong with all 3 of these levels that they can each get their own video, because every single mission in the Doom is a nightmare in its own right. So let's talk about those missions. Neutral is help Maria escape. Hero is heal 10 injured researchers. And Dark is kill 60 gun soldiers. My first attempt of the neutral mission was almost 11 minutes long. That was just for neutral. For comparison, I then played Lost Impact's neutral mission for a frame of reference, and I did that in just under 5 minutes. All neutral missions are get to the goal ring, something that's supposed to be a simple premise. It's why most people end up going to Lava Shelter in their first playthrough. But in these 2 levels, the map layouts are so maze-like and repetitive in their content that it's hard to even do that. There are entire hallways in rooms that are literally copy and pasted beat for beat right down to their enemy placements, and I don't think any level in this entire franchise has this much blatant padding. And as someone with memory issues, rooms and hallways like these are easy for me to get turned around in. The other issue with the neutral mission is that the strat for neutral missions is to kill as many dark enemies as you can to gain access to chaos control, which quickly flies you forward in the level. However, this is really difficult to do in the Doom because all the enemies in the Doom are gun soldiers, which fills the dark gauge for Chaos Blast. Unlike Lost Impact, where you can kill Artificial Chaos and spin dash fire for hero points, the only way to get hero points in the Doom is to spin dash the fire and heal cannon soldiers. Though if you haven't unlocked the heal cannon from beating Final Haunt at least once, this can only be done by throwing around these slow capsules. Now, to be fair to the stage, that was my first attempt. I forgot I could spin dash fire for hero points, and it's been a while since I played. Never mind that I've been mostly getting A ranks since I picked the game back up for this series. But never mind that, let's try again. I also picked up the heal cannon for the sake of giving this another go. My second attempt with the heal cannon and more understanding of the level got me a B rank, and it's at this point that I realize that the only signposts in this level are the checkpoints, since they are the only real indication that you are making forward progress and following ring trail. Better hope you don't get confused because you picked up too many or got turned around and have a trail leading you in the wrong direction. I also learned anytime the soldiers break open a wall, that wall will always lead you back to a previous location. So you need to fight the urge to go through them if you want to avoid getting turned around. The second run also made me realize something. Sonic games often have an issue having platforms that move way too slowly, but I think Shadow has it the worst. The elevators in the arc levels are intolerably slow. They take so long to move up and down, and if you miss them for one reason or another, you're stuck there waiting for what feels like an eternity. Frontiers had this issue as well, but it happened so infrequently that I don't think I even remembered to mention it in the video. But it happens all the time in this game, and if you do miss these platforms, you can kiss the A rank goodbye. The goal ring is placed in an incredibly strange place as well. The elevators and cargo lifts are something you want to avoid for pretty much the entire level, because they have nothing to do with forward progress. All of the elevators and cargo lifts exist for the hero and dark mission. However, that changes once you hit the final room. You get to the final room of the Doom, and there is no goal ring. So you fumble around for a while until you realize you need to use the elevators and cargo lifts in this room to get to the top floor, which is something the rest of the level discourages you from doing. The only way you would know the goal ring is here is if you were doing one of the other 2 missions, missed a target, and came across this area looking for the enemy you missed. Third attempt, I managed to optimize the run to get an A rank, and that took me 3 minutes and 44 seconds, and included 2 uses of chaos control from use of the heal cannon, which you have to aim yourself because it doesn't have an auto-aim feature. I never would have gotten the A rank otherwise, because the layout is that confusing. Unfortunately, you can't chaos control your way through the other 2 missions. The hero missions issue becomes apparent right away. Remember how I talked about those slow capsules a bit ago? Good luck aiming them, and if you miss, you have to wait for them to come back. And if you stand in the center of their spawn, because you don't know better, they don't come back until you leave. For sake of comparison, because I'm a deranged masochist, let's try this mission without the heal cannon, since it's entirely possible that you won't have it, because I didn't when I did the neutral mission for the first time in this video. Thankfully, I did find the right distance to throw the stupid things eventually. You actually want to be fairly close to them, which is shocking because of the arc of how Shadow throws it. The hero mission is where getting attacked by the people you're helping makes the most sense, and is also the most aggravating. Gun is here to wipe out everyone that knows anything about Project Shadow or the Gizoid, so it makes perfect sense that they'd attack us regardless of what we do. However, anytime you get hit, you drop the item you are holding, be it a capsule or a bomb. These elevator rides where you need to take the capsule back to the researcher, I remember dying here so many times back in the day. Don't even think of trying to triangle jump, because the cargo lift will stop you. I A-ranked the hero mission my first attempt for this video, and I don't feel like I earned it. I was miserable the whole way through. I didn't even get a time bonus, because I spent almost 13 minutes in this slow, insufferable labyrinth. My score was 4.8k, which means they knew how much of a chore this mission was, and instead of making it more fun, or just taking it out of the game, they just made the ranking system more lenient. This is something we'll be talking about again when I make a video on Mad Matrix, because Sonic Team has 2 signs for whenever everyone on the team knows a level is terrible, but doesn't have time to fix it. They either make the ranking system way more forgiving than normal, or they put in extra life right before an absurdly difficult or badly designed section. Now it's time for the worst of all 3 of the missions, the Dark Mission. My first attempt of the Dark Mission was 15 minutes, and that was a D rank. Now, if you know anything about the Dark Mission, and how it's designed, you know exactly why that's nonsense. And it is also an indication no one at Sonic Team was aware of just how bad this mission was when it shipped. There are 60 gun troops you need to kill in this labyrinth of a stage, and there are only 60 soldiers in the stage. I love how Black Doom points out the maps because they are worthless and don't tell you anything. It says I'm here, but I don't know where I don't know where here is. I don't know what here is. And I don't know how many enemies are with me either. A enemy radar would solve a fair bit of this game's problems. The gun troops aren't always visible. Sometimes they spawn on top of you. Sometimes they spawn as you are running by. Sometimes they spawn by breaking down walls. And sometimes they don't spawn until you leave a room and come back, which means you have to tiptoe around these narrow hallways, rotating the camera and praying you don't miss one. My second attempt went even worse than the first, because I was unlucky, and I wound up having one of the 2 enemies that may not spawn properly, not spawn in. There's a soldier in a hallway that might not spawn in, and there's a gun beetle near the end which may or may not spawn, depending on if a certain enemy in the level is gone. I got unlucky and had the soldier one happen, which means we gotta play the Doom again. This right here is why I considered the Doom the worst level in Sonic history for so long. It wasn't enough that the level design was abysmal, or that the missions were insane in what they ask from the player. It also has the gall to not function. Lost Impact, for all its faults, at least functions. Now I gotta play this train wreck of a stage again. Off camera, I died to that stupid cargo lift area twice, and lost another life in one of the red triangle jump areas, because the triangle jump decided to just not work. But at long last, I have an A rank for all the missions on the Doom. I feel like I have accomplished less than nothing. Wow, that really was just bad from top to bottom. Is there anything nice, anything at all, I can say about this level? The music is nice. And Maria looks cute in her victory animation. She's trying her best. If you plug in a second controller, you can control Maria. Her jump is terrible, and her melee attack doesn't have a hitbox, so you can't kill anything with it. Then again, maybe it's for the best that this terminally ill 14-year-old doesn't have her cousin's ludicrous levels of superhuman strength. Otherwise, we'd have to wonder how the gunshot wound managed to kill her in the first place. Then again, it did take her an awfully long time to succumb to her wounds. Good night, everybody. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like the video, leave a comment down below on your thoughts, share the video around, and subscribe to the channel. I also now have a Discord server, so if you'd like to chat with me on there, you can. And if you'd like to support me financially, I have a Twitch channel where I stream regularly, so you can subscribe to me there or participate in any sponsored stream that I do. If you have suggestions for levels you'd like to see me cover for this series, be sure to say so in your comment. I do try to read and respond to all comments I get. As for the next level we'll be tackling, I'm still in a shadow mood, so we'll be tackling Lost Impact next. Till next time.